It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
What is up, heroes of Dominion? My name is Charlie. This is Hero Wars Central, and in today's video, I'm going to do a team combo video. Two heroes that do very well together, and this one has been a long time coming. This is a very popular team. This is one of the most prolific meta cores, the core of a meta team on most servers that you're going to be on, whether it's the mobile game, the Facebook game, or the web version of the game. Now on mobile, on the, I think it's the 10th of June, we've got a Twins event coming up. There'll be some new skins, the new cybernetic skins coming out. So I thought it would be a fun idea to do this video this weekend. Hopefully give some new players and some mid-range, maybe some veteran players, like probably not any veteran players, but maybe give them some insight on why this team is so good and why you should be collecting their soul stones when you can. Now, all of that being said, I am not a Twins player, so I don't know all of the ins and outs of the Twins. So if I missed something, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below to help us out. Let me know in the Discord. If it's a big thing, obviously, I'll go ahead and revise the video, but just enjoy this, what we got. We'll go through the skills. We'll talk about it a little bit in detail, and then we'll talk about them together holistically, but here we go. So let's talk about Lars first. And Lars, this isn't going to be a tier list video, but in the grand scheme of things, Lars is fantastic. And one of the big reasons why Lars is so good of a damage dealer is because he provides his own magic penetration. His artifact weapon provides magic penetration for your team. His artifact book provides magic penetration for himself. And he has a magic penetration glyph. So by himself, he's a pretty solid damage dealer. But once you start looking into his skills, you'll start to notice a little bit of maybe a gap. But we'll talk about that and why Krista shores up those gaps. So the four skills that we're going to talk about are Lars first, and then we'll talk about Krista. Lars is a squishy caster mage, usually in the back, sometimes in the fourth position, but Lord of the Storm says Lars summons a storm at the enemy's backline, dragging heroes to its eye and applying a mark of water to each of them. So this doesn't do any damage. Right? This actually doesn't do any damage by itself. Similar to Kark's knock-up ability, his ultimate, this doesn't do any damage. All it does is it repositions the enemy team, and it applies a mark of water, which is a debuff, which is a spell that is applied to the opponents. And this is level dependent. So if you're at max level, it's guaranteed to land on your opponents. If you're not at max level and you're fighting somebody higher level than you, then there's a chance that they will resist the mark of water. So green ability, Chain Lightning. This launches an electrical charge, hitting each enemy one by one. So this is an area of effect attack. This will hit everyone on the opponent's team. Pretty solid damage, 35% magic attack modifier. Not hugely important, but still, it's a good ability. It's a good all-around attacking ability, as an attacking hero should have attacking abilities. The blue ability, Lightning Bolt, strikes the nearest enemy with a lightning bolt, dealing damage and stunning them for 4 seconds. Enemies with a mark of water are prioritized. So this is important. If your opponent's tank does not have a mark of water, then it will cast lightning bolt on the enemy that does have mark of water. So usually your opponent's tank will have a mark of water, so this doesn't matter. But in some cases, like with Luther or maybe Ziri, this this could hit somebody in the second position or even further back, especially if you're dealing with somebody who has a debuff remover on the opposing team, like a Nebula or a Celeste or even a Sebastian on Facebook. This could affect somebody other than the tank, but it does also stun them for 4 seconds. Level dependent, again, based on, if you're at max level, it's going to guarantee to stun, but 4-second stun is amazing. It's pretty solid. And then finally, the Violet ability. All of Lars's attacks against enemies with a mark of water, that debuff, deal more damage and stun them for a longer period of time. And you can see here extra damage plus 40%, stun duration plus 20%. So all of Lars's attacks against enemies with a mark of water, basic attacks, chain lightning, lightning bolt, all of them do more damage, and any of them that stun, such as the lightning bolt, the blue ability, will increase that stun duration. So this is where Lars kind of shines, and he's a lot similar to Kark in this regard. Kark's damage is pretty solid, but he also stuns the opponent, the opponents when he knocks him up. So Lars probably puts out more damage than Kark does, but it's dependent on other factors. It's dependent on other factors, and that's why we're doing this video. So just reading through these skills, you can kind of see you've got two, okay damaging skills. You got a violet ability, violet passive that massively increases the damage once the debuff is applied. So you need effectively Lars to ult twice if you're using Lars by himself in order for this violet ability to be effective, in order for the the stun duration to last a long time. But let's talk about Krista. Now, Krista is the other half of the quote-unquote twins, right? She's a little tankier than Lars is. She's an upfront. I think I don't know if she's a front line, but she's often found in the second position. Sometimes she gets pushed back to the third position, but she can take a couple of hits, and I really like Krista because of that. However, Krista does not have her own magic penetration. So what do we do with heroes that are damage dealers that don't have their own penetration? Well, you pair them with a hero that does. And who better to pair her with than her brother, Lars, who provides the whole team, including Krista, with magic penetration. So already, before we even look at abilities, we see a little bit of synergy. All right? You take a high damage output hero like Krista or Helios or Kira, and then you add a penetration hero to the team, increasing that initial damage dealer's damage output. And because of that, Krista is a more powerful damage dealer. And you'll see here as we read through her skills, a lot of her skills are more based on damage than control. So it's kind of, Lars will handle the stuns and the control and buffing the damage of Krista, but let's talk about it. So Icy Vengeance is Krista's ultimate. Hits enemies one by one with 5 ice crystals, dealing area damage. Good ultimate. She, does a lot of damage with that. Chains of Frost. This is her green ability. All right. This is incredibly important as well. This kind of stacks with the magic penetration. Chains of Frost hits the enemies in the center of an enemy's team, temporarily reducing their magic defense and applying a mark of water to them. So what do we have? We have Lars that drags all the team together when he ults. And then we have Chains of Frost that hits enemies in the center of an enemy's team, which often have all been dragged together because of Lars's tornado, and applies a mark of water to them. Okay, reducing magic defense as well. Temporary reduction, sure, but it's a good amount reduced. So not only do you have Lars using his magic penetration artifact, you also have Krista reducing the magic defense of the opponents. So, both heroes' spells do more damage. The blue ability, Frozen Needles, freezes the ground under the feet of an enemy's team, the entire team, filling the zone with ice thorns. Any movement through the area deals damage, and when the thorns melt, all heroes standing on them get a mark of water. So now we have 2 abilities on Krista that apply marks of water. Okay, 2 abilities, and this is a nice area of effect damage as well. So you have Icy Vengeance, which does area of effect damage. You have Chains of Frost, which reduces the magic defense of everyone on the opposing team. You have Frozen Needles, which damages everyone on the opposing team and debuffs them with Mark of Water again. And then finally you have Crystallization, and this is more to do with Krista's survivability, so I won't spend a lot of time covering this. When in danger of taking major damage, Krista summons an ice block that protects the caster for 2 seconds by partially absorbing any incoming damage. So the idea behind these two is Krista is going to do a ton of damage and often provide marks of water to the entire enemy team several times. Lars is going to do damage. It's going to stun multiple heroes at once, stunning multiple heroes at once for a long duration, right? And then also the lightning bolt ability that just does massive damage to enemies with Mark of Water. Of course, it's only the nearest enemy. Chain Lightning does additional damage to enemies that have Mark of Water once Conductance's Violet ability is active. Right? And then you keep having these stuns over and over. The Lord of the Storm ultimate, moving people out of position. They have to walk back into position, which walks them over Krista's Frozen Needles, which applies another watermark if the original one got removed. So these 2 heroes were designed, obviously they were designed together, they're brother and sister, but they work so well together and they fight so well above their weight, meaning they do well fighting against teams that are much higher level than they are. However, they shine at max level because the stuns can't be avoided, the watermarks can't be avoided unless you have somebody to remove stuns and watermarks. And the damage output is so consistent and so fast that there are many, 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 many builds you can build with Lars and Krista. You can go tankless, no tank. That means using Krista as a tank. You can throw just about any tank in front of Krista. You can use Astaroth, of course. A lot of people use Cleaver. I like using Chaba for fun. Luther could work. Ziri could work. Galahad could work. A lot of tanks could work. Aurora could work. You throw in a healer if you want. Martha's a good healer. You can do Celeste Jorgen. You can do Jorgen Martha. You can do Nebula Martha. There's so many great variants with the twins that it is worth leveling them up. It is worth collecting their soul stones, if nothing else, for your Grand Arena team too. And I think everyone that builds a Grand Arena team, that is 3 teams of 5 to compete in the cross server tournaments or in Grand Arena. I think every team that you're going to come across, every player that you're going to come across is going to have at least one Lars Krista team on their 3 teams that they bring to the fight. I just don't see how you can avoid it. This team is just so powerful. So on mobile, twins are much stronger than they are on Facebook. Much, much, much stronger. So if you are a mobile player, and this is the first time you're watching me, watching one of my videos, you're not sure about if you should invest resources into this Lars and Krista event that's coming up here in a couple of days, or maybe you're watching this video as the Lars and Krista event is live. Maybe you saw the event and you Googled Lars and Krista, or you Googled the twins and my video popped up. It is worth getting these hero soul stones. I'm going to do tier list videos for each of these individually, or maybe I'll do them together. I don't know. But you can always check me out every day on twitch.tv/herowarscentral, every weekday, I should say. Times are posted there in the central time zone, so check that out. We have a lot of fun. We really do. But with all that being said, I'm going to end the video here. I love you all. Good luck in Dominion.